Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Leela Rhodes and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at NetCom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's webinar, 10 Essential PMI Skills for a Leader. And presenting today's topic is Hasnain Rizvi. Hasnain is a doctorate degree holder with over 25 years of experience in the field as an accomplished project executive, agile coach, and instructor across multiple industries. As a regular presenter and thought leader at professional events, he has conducted training for over 25,000 participants globally. He has also authored numerous publications, both on project management, including risk management, as well as numerous soft skill titles, including emotional intelligence for project managers, job hunting with agility, and business analyst for practitioners. Now, please bear in mind that this is still just an overview of a very robust topic. We do offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored toward your specific requirements. If you're interested in further discussion about any of those, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at www.netcomlearning.com. NetCom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adopting change, and driving growth. We do this with our broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. And we have 9 practice areas in which we specialize, and they encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the business process practice area. NetCom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio for business process courses, and our upcoming classes include various trainings on leadership skills techniques, leadership skills for non-managers, strategic thinking training for operational management, and much more. Private training to teams is also available, and the learning plans can be customized to the specific needs of that audience. You can also access a variety of business process marketing assets, such as the free 1-hour training, free on-demand training, and blogs by clicking on the available webinar handout. These offerings can also be found with a simple search on our website at www.netcomlearning.com. In this webinar, we will learn specific techniques and methods based on project management principles and strategies, utilizing risk analysis to improve outcomes, conducting effective kickoff meetings, and much more. And now I'm going to go ahead and pass the time over to Hasnain to present today's topic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Well, good day, everyone. I appreciate you all joining in. This is an exciting topic. Project management is so critical to virtually any industry that you're out there, be it the government sector, the private sector, healthcare, you name it, IT, cyber, all over the space. So what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about these 10 essential PMI skills for a leader. And PMI stands for the Project Management Institute, obviously. So these are project management related skills that we are focusing on with a specific lens on leadership. The agenda is that we'll be applying these, learning to apply these general project management principles. We're going to see how we can utilize risk analysis specifically to improve value-driven outcomes. How do you conduct effective kickoff meetings? That will be covered in these 10 points. And then delegating, status tracking will also be covered in this conversation today. Now, the way these 10 must-have skills are being broken out is that we have some that we are identifying as hard skills and others that are on the soft side, soft skills. And we'll explain both of these in detail as we go through our presentation here. Essentially, you need a variety of both hard and soft skills to be a successful project leader, okay? According to the teachings from PMI. Soft skills are those that you can develop through education, work experience. They help you sort of shape the right temperament for project management. And hard skills are those that you need to learn specifically for the role. And these you typically learn through formal project management training or perhaps through some apprenticeship or on-the-job training under an experienced campaigner. So the first hard skill that we have identified is risk management. The process of making conscious decisions. Again, the process of making conscious decisions to maximize the upside and minimize the downside is really what we call risk management. Now, risk management is a very deep subject. In it, we include things like volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. It's typically known as VUCA. As a project management, you have to be aware of project's potential for profit as well as loss, and the decisions that could lead to either, right? So throughout the project, you would have to stay attuned to the stakeholders' measures of success and how each individual's decisions and actions on the team can contribute or detract from achieving those aims. The next hard skill, as many would imagine, is money and finances are an important topic, right? So as a project leader, you'll either receive a budget for a project or you'll be tasked with presenting a cost estimate for decision makers to approve and review, right? It will be your responsibility throughout the project to stay aware of the costs and to keep the project from going over the approved budget, what we typically call the baseline. Cost and project management is one part of what's called the triple constraint, okay, of the project management triangle. The other constraints being time and scope. So cost is a very, very critical element, obviously, to the equation. Managing costs includes balancing the constraints with the other two constraints, which is time and scope. You have to stay within the budget while maintaining the timeline and while not exceeding or underperforming when it comes to scope. Another one that you may find surprising perhaps on the list is reading and writing. Communication is where we spend 90% of our time when it comes to project management and project leadership. So reading comprehension, concise and clear writing are absolutely vital skills for project leaders. Strong reading and writing skills are important for just about any job, but they play a very, very prominent role in project management and project leadership because you may be tasked with reading and interpreting technical documents, legal jargon, um, complex, ambiguous um, case studies and records from the previous project archives. You would need to turn all this information into briefs where everyone involved with the project can actually understand and follow. You may need to visualize this. Nowadays, we're living in a very infographic, information radiator driven communication model. So you would capture all this and then convert it to some infographics that would make sense to the rest of us. Another key hard skill is creating a roadmap for the project that'll set expectations for all stakeholders and also guide other stakeholders in their roles. So, there are different scenarios that require different project management methodologies, such as agile versus hybrid versus waterfall. Um, and, we would need to, in this forecasting, set expectations for our stakeholders as to which methodology we may be using and also really discuss and determine which is the best option, the pros and cons for each um, methodology here. So this again needs to be planned out and forecasted. Now the forecasting piece involves providing a prediction of project outcomes. And obviously, as you may imagine, the two key things that people are interested in many times are again time and cost. Are we going to be profitable? Are we going to stay within the budgetary constraints? And are we going to deliver on time? Because time is money and delays will many a times cost us. So as a project leader, you would need to be comfortable with data analysis. So you can interpret how past projects performed and use this information to accurately or as accurately as possible predict the future of your current project. Obviously, there are a lot of things that are not in our domain of control here, right? As right now, as we're dealing with a unique situation with rising inflation, for example, across the globe, and we're having to revise a lot of our forecasting because prices are rising dramatically thanks to inflation. There are delays due to supply chain issues across the globe. So those things, obviously, we as project leaders are not immune to that, and they affect the projects that we are running today. Now I'm going to move on to the soft skills. Right? These are sort of innate strengths that are important to your success as in a leadership sort of project management role. So amongst the soft skills is leadership itself, right? Um, while we may not be in that C-suite executive chambers, our job many a times is really guiding others through this project. This requires both management skills, which is getting stuff done, but then also leadership skills which inspire others, right? Um, where we are, facilitating, coaching, mentoring, guiding, and teaching um, with that message of explaining the why and the purpose. Where we made the team purpose driven here and get them excited and energized behind um, the purpose of this project. And that's where we, are able to maximize the human potential here. The next one is communication. And if you were listening earlier, I stated that 90% of our time, according to PMI, the Project Management Institute, is spent in communications. So this is absolutely key, right? Um, Hand in hand with leadership is strong, effective communication. And we as project managers are the point of contact, right? We're that central sort of nuclear point through which all communication is clarified and uh, confusion is resolved, the muddy waters are cleared or should be cleared, right? We really need to work towards building and facilitating a cohesive teamwork environment so that people can really focus on the work and not get confused with the messaging and the perhaps conflicting messaging that different stakeholders may deliver, maybe executives. You and I have probably been in situations where you appreciate where different executives are requesting different things based on different priorities. So as a project manager, you have to facilitate that conversation and bring it all to one consistent prioritized list. So, we're likely going to be mediating conflicts among stakeholders, handling negotiations, um, again, while respecting everyone's role and perspective. We'll have to diplomatically communicate them across the project. And of course, as project managers, we need to be masters of written, verbal, and visual communication. Right? We'll face instances of all three, and mastering them all lets us communicate effectively with a diverse group of project stakeholders. Moving on, another key soft skill is time management, right? In fact, time has a very close relationship with risk management, which we addressed in the hard skills area. So, you know, we've got to have a personal strength. We need to possess a personal strength for time management. We're talking about juggling multiple deadlines, multiple constraints, conflicting stakeholder needs, right? We need to calmly and consistently manage a very complex timeline, a complexity. While I don't have the luxury of explaining that concept in detail here, complexity entails an ever-changing environment around us, which we don't fully control. So you're managing a complex timeline in projects typically. What that means is you're managing a timeline where many factors are outside your domain of control, right? Yet you need to help others stay on task. Um, you need to be able to foresee complications that could derail the timeline, and you need to solutionize to stay on track before those uh, uh, blockages turn up. Another really important soft skill is really patience. Being at the center of multiple teams attempting to work together toward a common goal can be rewarding, but it can also be exceptionally frustrating, right? you're in charge of basically managing disparate expectations and objectives, right? All while mediating conflict, communicating needs, helping everyone around you. And all of this requires serious patience. Sometimes you feel like a therapist. Um, you can't really help a project achieve success if you yourself give in to the frustrations and challenges, right? You're not going to be able to facilitate communication calmly if you absorb the frustrations or resentments that are boiling among the team members themselves. So your ability to remain calm and many times maintain a neutral stance is vital to your success as a project leader, as well as, frankly speaking, the success of the project and the satisfaction of the people working on it. So your patience through challenges can and will inspire persistence. It'll diffuse conflicts, right? Whereas on the other side, if you do lose your patience, then that frustration could demoralize the team, and that exacerbate problems, unfortunately. Adaptability is also very key, right? So the tools and strategies for project management are evolving. I've been in this industry for a very long time, and the ways and the methods of the way we've been working have really evolved over time. And adaptability is absolutely critical, right? As they change is a constant. Um, so we need to learn to work differently with teams, learn to communicate differently as things evolve, right? Um, we need to excel at learning new methods quickly and then encourage others to get on board. So we need to lead by example, right? We need to model what we say desired behavior. So we've got to model that and be the exemplary, North Star for that. And some sort of measure, frankly speaking, of tech savviness is also important because while I mean the tools are not everything, we do spend time in the tools, the various tools, whether it's Jira or if you're in an agile environment or Azure DevOps or MS Project or Clarity or Primavera, you name it. There's so many tools out there. I could keep on naming them. Um, Really, our role is understanding and properly using the software as well as other tools for things such as analytics, document creation, sharing, communication, all these things, right? Adaptability is absolutely key, and it's really all about a mindset here, right? That mindset of setting the example that we need to have that sense of agility around, what the client needs, and we're going to adapt our ways depending on what the challenges are that are being presented for the project. The last skill that I want to touch upon is critical thinking.
We're going to hear from Mary Feeney, our product manager, to introduce some promotions and webinar related courses. Mary, are you with us?
Hey, Leela.
Hey, nice to chat. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while. Well, while you're logging in your question for Hasnan, and he's really an awesome instructor, subject matter expert. In fact, Hasnan also led some of our internal training. Really a great subject matter expert. Thank you, Hasnan. I just want to direct you to our website. We're in wanted to share with you some more information as you go through whatever the reason you're attending this webinar. Let me just go through this. Basically, we'd like to share with you that we were awarded by Microsoft as their 2022 Microsoft Learning Partner of the Year. So we're proud of that. And as for PMI, if you go to our PMI vendor page, let me go there. You can see some information here that may be relevant to you. If you are PMP, a project management professional, you can also check out courses that will help you fulfill your PDU requirements. So every time there is a new class, we always submit that to the PMI so they can approve it, and you can use that as you get your 60 PDU requirements. Now, going back, there's also a cheat sheet here on the PMI certification roadmap. Whatever certification you're targeting. As you all know, the PMI has several certification, and as an authorized training provider, we are certified, authorized to help you with that. We have public classes that are running. There's also private classes. I think Leela said that if you have you want something tailored for your team, definitely we can set that up with you. So you can find all our classes. There's a lot of resources here that you can use as you build skills. Also, aside from the PMI, you may want to look into some e-learning courses that we have or we are offering at no charge. So let me just direct you here. So if you are in cloud, specifically wanted to know more about AWS, there are about 300 e-learning courses that are at no cost. These are created by AWS. So go ahead, take advantage of it. It can be, these are um, very short timed e-learning, so you can insert it in your free time. There's also, if you're into security, there's also some easy council e-learning courses that you can take advantage of. Anything that basically has the essential are at no cost and is developed by easy council. Of course, there are full e-learning that you can purchase. It's also a very popular modality, especially if you want to take some training at your own time. Again, if you want to search out schedules for PMI, just for PMI courses, just go to schedules and search for the class that you want. Now, aside from that, there's also some promotions running. Check it out. What we do here is if you have a team in your company that would like to try out NetCom, we even offer a free 2-hour training just to test us out. For again, this is a private 2-hour class that we can offer you. And there are more promotions that are running, so feel free to get into this. Also, the webinars. Aside from this, there are a lot of upcoming webinars that you can attend. With that, Leela, I'd like to turn the mic over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and jump right into our question answer session. And for those of you who haven't gotten yours in, go ahead and do that. Once we do get through with our question answer session, we will go ahead and wrap up today's webinar. So our first question that I have is, there is a lot of talk about agility nowadays. What is the role of agility in project management?
That's an absolutely excellent question. And yes, it's a very, very hot topic right now. So I appreciate that question. Agile has evolved organically as a need. We have to go back a little bit in history and look at this to understand it. And for me to give a really proper answer to this, which I'd like to give. Project management started in the very large capex type of projects after World War II. So we're talking about like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of projects. The oil and gas sector, the defense industry, the large construction projects that were taking place across the globe. That's where project management really started. NASA, Department of Defense, those were the big consumers of this. But then in the 1980s, we started seeing the emergence of Silicon Valley, right? And a lot smaller scale projects started emerging in the IT and software space. And those traditional project management approaches that made a lot of sense for the very large scale mega projects and giga projects, they just weren't flexible enough. They weren't quote unquote agile enough for our shorter term, quick win projects. So that's where agility really has sort of organically came out in the 80s and 90s. And from the 2000s onwards, it's taken on a little bit more interest because now the expectations from the market are that we need to get things out sooner, quicker. We need to do things yesterday. Client expectations are higher. The clients are more aware, the customers are more aware of what options they have in the market. So for us to, in a rapidly global competitive market, we need to remain very agile and flexible and work in a manner that delivers value as soon as possible. It's a very value-driven delivery approach. And while it's got its roots in the software space, it also makes sense in many sectors. So it's being used in the government sector, the healthcare sector, the nonprofit sector. And I think agility is just really, it's still in its infancy. I think there's still a lot of runway here. So this is going to be an exciting thing to look at in the years ahead.
Thank you. Okay, it looks like our next question is, what about systems thinking? This seems to be pretty confusing. How does it come into play in project management?
Sure. So systems thinking really is where instead of thinking in a silo about just my project and my individual project objectives, the thought process that we need to have, especially as project leaders, is that how is this affecting the organization overall? Perhaps even the ecosystem within which we're working. So how is this going to affect the overall portfolio of projects? So this is where the portfolio level, the program level in the area of project management kicks in, and we start thinking of like lean portfolio management. Again, I apologize, I'm using a lot of terms in responding to this question, but all those things are, we cover that in our trainings. So, nonetheless, the bottom line is that we take a bigger approach. We think through all the interdependencies and the interconnectedness between our project and the rest of the activities and initiatives that are underway within our organization to maximize value, maximize optimal usage of resources.
Okay, we have one more question in our queue. In your experience, where do you suggest someone looking to break into the career in project management should start looking?
Good. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there are many options, obviously, for to look at when entering a career in project management. If you're someone with experience, you want to see how you can leverage that and pick up transferable skills from your past experiences on your resume. If you're just entering into the workforce, then they're obviously the quickest route is to get certified through some trainings. There's a traditional project management training route. There are the agile options such as the Scrum Master route, which is a good entry point for many candidates. Those who have experience in an industry, as I say, you may want to look at the product ownership side in the project management world. So a number of options, but one thing I would say is that certifications tend to stand out. I mean, I'm a consultant out there in the industry, and one thing that definitely helps on a resume is if you're certified, it bumps up your resume, obviously, in the queue. So that's something to take into account. And a lot of these certification tracks in the project management world are not excessively difficult or complex to attain. They're quite attainable, and they're quite enriching as well.
Thank you so much. With that, we are through all of our questions. In addition to today's webinar, we have a lot of informative webinars that are coming up. So please go to www.netcomlearning.com/webinars/ to register for any of those. We want to thank you all for joining us today. If you do come up with any additional questions, please feel free to send them to us at webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. And we hope that you found today's webinar to be informative. We look forward to seeing you back here with us very soon. Also, feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us and have a wonderful day.